not been kind to some of the teams who have worn the crown so far this season. Number 1 UConn will try it on for size for the first time tonight as they take on Louisville. How tough is the Big East? Connecticut is number 1 in the nation and 3rd in their own conference because Louisville and Marquette are both undefeated in league play. Hi, everybody. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale. Glad you're with us. This is going to be fun. Number 1 against number 7. What are you looking for?
Well, you know, you're talking about two teams, Dan, that have been perfect in the month of January. 9 and zip. Both playing their best basketball right now, especially defensively. I think when you look at this matchup, number 1, Louisville better make some medium-range jump shots and better make the 3 because Mr. Tabit says, thou shalt not enter thy lane. And the one thing about it, this is no upset, baby, if Louisville beats number 1. Not here in Louisville. And think about it. 2 weeks ago, Pittsburgh came here number 1. They didn't leave number 1.
Couple of very talented teams in Connecticut and Louisville. Let's take a look at our Star Watch now. Jeff Adrian and Terrence Williams.
Well, you know, you talk about the Star Watch right now. Certainly you talk about the ability of Terrence Williams. Multi-dimensional. Jeff Adrian gets no publicity. He's a double-double guy. He's consistent, physical, and one of the key reasons why Connecticut is number 1.
And time now to take a look at the starting lineups tonight. We begin with the visiting Connecticut Huskies. A.J. Price and Jerome Dyson, an ultra-talented backcourt. One of the best in the country up front. The big shot blocker, Hasheem Thabeet, coming off a triple-double. Stanley Robinson, a great athlete on the wing. And then the rugged and underrated, as Dick mentioned, Jeff Adrian inside. For Louisville, in the backcourt, Edgar Sosa and Jerry Smith. Smith is the best shooter that the Louisville Cardinals have. And up front, a freshman, Samardo Samuels, at better than 13 points per game. And then just 2 great talents in Terrence Williams and Earl Clark, 2 forwards who happen to be the 2 best passers that Louisville has. For more on tonight's big contest here in Freedom Hall, let's welcome in Aaron Andrews.
Dan, thanks so much. You know, those 4 teams that held that top ranking before UConn tonight, they may have felt a little bit of a bullseye on their chest, but Connecticut head coach Jim Calhoun told me, yeah, we're happy with the ranking. It's a little bit of a motivational edge, but he also said, we don't feel any different about tonight's game because of that ranking. The only thing we're worried about is if we get a win tonight over these guys in the conference, that's a big deal. His star guard, A.J. Price, also said the same thing, Dan. He said, yeah, the ranking's great. We'll worry about it in the offseason.
I like that. I'll tell you, Aaron, they're concerned right now. Connecticut, they want to get Uno number 1. They want to get right on top of the Big East. And right now, they're behind Marquette and they're behind Louisville. If they take care of business tonight and get a W, they catch Louisville.
An outstanding group of officials, John Cal, Ed Corbett, and Michael Stevens. And we are underway here at Freedom Hall where they are pumped up for this game tonight.
Well, you pumped up?
I'm pumped
I know
up.
I'm pumped up.
Really?
Well, I'm trying to come down from that Super Bowl yesterday.
Terrence Williams, the senior with the mid-range jumper. He has been shooting the ball extremely well, coinciding with the Cardinals' 9-game winning streak.
There's that full court pressure. It's been suffocating.
Stanley Robinson and Samardo Samuels got a piece.
Samuels did a great job in their 5-man, the back guy in that pressure.
Well, you've gotten a preview of what this game is going to be like. Up and down, a lot of pressure. A frenetic pace as Louisville turns it over.
You know, both clubs really are outstanding defensively. They're number 1 and 2 right now in the Big East in field goal percentage defensively. They do it with different styles, contrasting. You got traps coming out of the little zone trap right here. They'll double up, rotate back into a man-to-man. They really get after it. Now they're going to rotate into a zone. They're going to make them shoot some threes.
Louisville forces a lot of turnovers. Connecticut is one of the best shot-blocking teams in the nation, although the Cardinals are pretty good in that department as well. Stanley Robinson is the guy who really did a lot of damage in a Connecticut win against Louisville last year. Here he is launching from 3. And the rebound comes down to Dyson. Nice pass inside. Adrian is fouled.
Nice look by Dyson to get the ball into Adrian. They'll like to see Robinson shooting that 3. He's coming off a big game against Providence when he had 18 and 11.
A 33-point win for the Huskies over Providence. Hall of Famer Jim Calhoun closing in on 800 wins in his career between Northeastern and Connecticut, and a guy who is likely to join him in the Hall of Fame one day, wouldn't you say, and Rick Pitino on the sideline for Louisville.
I think it's Lock City. Had he not gone to the NBA, he'd already be in the Hall of Fame. I think he'd have numbers a la Mr. Krzyzewski down at Duke.
Of Of course, these guys go way back to Pitino at BU and Calhoun at Northeastern. Their rivalry, their coaching against one another, goes back more than 25 years. Pitino is 11-6 all time against Calhoun.
You know, statistic to watch in this game is going to be very carefully the free throw line. Connecticut goes to the free throw line way more than their opponents. They attack the basket.
Sosa playing some of his best basketball in recent weeks after Rick Pitino basically challenged him and said, maybe you should think about transferring out of the program. Gave Sosa a bit of a wake-up call. He's been playing better defensively, hasn't been turning it over. And Rick Pitino said for Sosa, less is more. Don't try to be spectacular. Run the offense, help your teammates out.
I'll tell you one thing, they come off with a combination defensively off the bench of McGee and Preston Knowles, who really play suffocating defense.
You may see up to 12 players get legitimate minutes for Louisville tonight. That's how many guys Rick Pitino will use. There may not be a better athlete in this conference. There may not be many better athletes in the country than Terrence Williams.
Yeah, he's a terrific athlete, multi-dimensional, playing his best basketball in Big East competition.
A turnover.
Struggled in December when they had those losses to UNLV, Western Kentucky.
Samuels inside after a sweet feed from Clark. Can't get the shot off. Clark misses the three. Look at the rebound by Williams. And he draws the foul.
Not a good shooting team, Louisville. That's one of their real Achilles heels, shooting the basketball. But here is Williams doing what he does best, attacking the goal, taking it to the rim.
Second foul on Stanley Robinson, and the guy who was the best player for UConn last year against Louisville has gone to the bench. Craig Austrie has come in, as now UConn goes with a three-guard look. This is what they used before Robinson returned to the team from that personal leave of absence in the first semester.
That might be a plus for them from this standpoint. Against the pressure they're going to face out of Louisville, having the three ball handlers might be a plus. There's a turnover right here, baby.
I'll tell you, what a start for Terrence Williams. Sosa misses the shot, but Williams a steal, a rebound, a great pass, a jumper. He is doing everything right now.
He has no match against him in terms of athleticism other than when he faces Connecticut.
Yeah. The foul on Samardo Samuels. Well, Jim Calhoun said at shoot-around this morning, if he had a vote right now for Player of the Year in the Big East, it wouldn't be DeJuan Blair, it wouldn't be Luke Herringody, no disrespect to them. It would be either Jarrell McNeil of Marquette or Terrence Williams of Louisville, both having outstanding seasons, and both of those teams undefeated in conference play.
I respect what both guys are doing, but there's no way you can deny Herringody at 28 a game and 14 rebounds a game. Think of the numbers I just laid on you. He's not getting a lot of help from his people, but he's having a phenomenal year. And I read also where one of the draft services have him rated where they said he'd be probably the 59th player taken
next year, after his senior season.
59th player, give me a break. Anybody lets that kid slide to 59, then maybe I've never been around basketball. He's a tough, tenacious competitor.
Meanwhile, Dick, that's the second foul on Terrence Williams, but Rick Pitino, normally that's automatic. You're going to the bench, but whether it's because he's a senior or how important he is to what the team is doing, Rick Pitino is going to give him some rope here and trust him.
I think that's overutilized by coaches. The panic with the two fouls and taking a guy out. Three I could understand, but coaches get so nervous with two, and I think they let sometimes leads get away from them. I salute Pitino for having the guts to say, I'm going to let him play.
Williams for three.
He better let him play.
Good coaching move, huh?
He better let him play. That's why he's going to be a Hall of Famer, Mr. Pitino.
Terrence Williams has all 7 Louisville points.
Both these clubs really so prepared defensively. There's that scrambling defense. They try to get you out of any kind of rhythm offensively.
Good call there by John Cal. Edgar Sosa got both of his hands up on Price and pushed him into the backcourt.
Take a look right now. Williams going to catch the ball on the wing. This has been one of his weak areas. Gets the open look, knocks it down. Pitino said he's really improved his shooting. And he says there's no doubt that he'll be effective for 10 years playing at the next level. There's that active zone up top. Connecticut's going to have to make some shots from the perimeter.
Adrian, nice dump down, and Kemba Walker, the freshman, lays it in.
Great play by Adrian to find the cutter to the basket because they were really trying to force Connecticut to shoot the three.
There's no question that Jeff Adrian is one of the most underrated players around. In addition to all the rebounding, defense, leadership, maturity, the leading scorer on this team is not Price, not Dyson, not Thabit. It's Jeff Adrian at better than 14 a game.
43 double-doubles in his career. That's amazing.
Williams the miss, Thabit the rebound.
Thabit's coming off a first triple-double for him against Providence.
A.J. Price playing some great basketball in recent weeks. Rebound Williams and the quick outlet. Louisville looks to push. Tough pull-up by Sosa.
Sosa made one of the biggest shots of the year this year when they beat their arch rival Kentucky. And after that trifecta, they've gone on that incredible run where they've won 9 in a row. Here comes the defensive stoppers.
Here come the 2 defensive Bulldogs in the backcourt for Louisville right now.
I like that, Bulldogs. Like that? Yeah, they really come after them.
Andre McGee is in, Preston Knowles is in, and Kyle Couric, a freshman out of Evansville, Indiana, number 14. A guy who doesn't play every game. He gets minutes here and there, but a very talented freshman, just kind of stuck behind Terrence Williams right now. Williams sits down, and Couric comes into the game early.
You know, Rick Pitino's philosophy is, my scholarship year, you better be able to give me some minutes. A lot of guys are afraid to go to their bench.
Couric an assist, Knowles a bucket immediately as they enter the game. And now watch number 2 and number 33 get after the Huskies.
And they really take pride in that defense. They scramble, they rotate effectively. Really take pride. They really
look at this defense. Look at this defense. Knowles. What a start for Preston Knowles.
That's a big lift off your bench. And you got 2 guys as a tandem who love playing defense. Most kids love playing offense.
Dyson all the way in.
Solid guard, driving ability. We saw Dyson make those threes against the Fighting Irish when they ended that 45-game win streak at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame still trying to get things turned around, as is Georgetown right now.
You know, Connecticut's so good on the road. They went to West Virginia, beat West Virginia at home.
Knowles with a couple of buckets since entering the game about a minute ago. Samuels thought better of going into Thabit. Out to Clark for the 3.
They're shooting threes tonight. Who said in the scouting report that on a good shooting team from the perimeter? Clark made a wise decision, coming back, playing for Pitino another year. His father told him, Larry, who played for P.J. Carlissimo at Wagner, come back.
Austria, crowd wanted a walk, and the end result is a jam for Adrian.
Good job of coaching right there. Attack the pressure. Don't play conservative. Don't back it up.
Well, we had a feeling this was going to be all kinds of fun, and so far it has been. Great pressure by both teams. And Louisville playing very well early with a 3-point lead. Foul trouble for Stanley Robinson and Terrence Williams as we go to our first media timeout of the night. The Louisville Cardinals have electrified this crowd with their defense tonight. Knowles with a steal, knocks down the jumper, and then showing they can hit the outside shot. Earl Clark bangs home a 3. What a start to this game with Louisville leading Connecticut 14-11, 5.5 minutes in. And this game has attracted not only fans, but NBA personnel. A total of 30 executives are here, most of them scouts, also some general managers, including Joe Dumars, who is running the Detroit Pistons. They're here to see number 7 Louisville and number 1 UConn, but number 1 has not been kind to some teams this year. North Carolina held it for a while before the surprising loss to Boston College, but since then, nobody's been able to hold on to number 1 for very long. Pittsburgh came right in here to Freedom Hall, as Dick mentioned off the top of the show, and lost to Louisville. They had only 2 weeks at number 1. Wake lasted only 1 week as number 1, lost to Virginia Tech, and then, of course, Duke lost to Wake. So Connecticut became the new number 1 as of today. And if they lose tonight, they won't be number 1 next week.
I tell you one thing, it's so tough to stay up. There's so much balance in America, and that 3-point shot has really changed the complexion of the game. And great guard play as well has brought a lot of balance across America.
And it's amazing, though, you think back to the beginning of the season, Dick, everybody thought North Carolina was as much of a lock to win it all, but the season has shown that there are a lot of good teams, and that Carolina, if they don't play well, can be beat.
Well, I think what hurt Carolina also is a shot clock violation is the fact that they lost Zeller and lost Ginyard. That was a big loss. You take out of their rotation.
3-point lead for Louisville. Let's bring in Aaron Andrews.
We just saw the graphic there about Louisville upsetting Pittsburgh here when they were number 1. And I talked to several of the players about this tonight, and they just said, look, we didn't talk about UConn being number 1. We knew that they were heading into the weekend, obviously, when we knew about this game this Monday, but they mentioned who cares about the ranking? We play in the Big East. We feel like we play a #1 team every single night we take the court.
Aaron, I don't believe that. I don't buy it at all. They definitely have to be an excitement about playing #1. Kids could say that, don't want to believe that from their coaches, but you better believe they know Connecticut's #1.
Good defense inside by Terrence Jennings, and Kyle Couric helping from up above as well. Jennings, another freshman. He and Samuels basically splitting the minutes at the center spot. Another young player, George Good, will also play there sometimes.
You know, Jennings had a big game the last game against West Virginia. Doesn't let the strip. Deflections.
13 points for Jennings. Didn't miss a shot against West Virginia. McGee caused the turnover and then airballed the three. Thabit trying to lead Kemba Walker off
nice
to
look.
Adrian for the dunk.
Nice look. Great outlet by Thabit, but a great look by Walker to find Adrian.
And Rick Pitino in the face of his Cardinals as he calls a timeout. The Cardinal lead is down to 1.
Take a look at Thabit. There's the outlet. Now look at a great hustle. There he is, gets the ball, finds the open guy, unselfish. Hey, you know, I mentioned deflections. They charted deflections against West Virginia, 31 in the first half. In the second half, only had 5.
Big Super Tuesday tomorrow night here on ESPN. A college basketball doubleheader. Action begins in the Big Ten with Purdue playing very well right now. Travels to Columbus to take on Ohio State. And then a good game out of the SEC. South Carolina, a team nobody's talking about, but they're playing very well. 5-2 in the league as they take on the Florida Gators. Super Tuesday presented by KFC on ESPN.
You know, I spoke to Jimmy Dykes today. He'll be doing that game with Brad Nessler, and certainly he knows the SEC. I said the other day, Dan, as you were there, and I really firmly believe this. I think the polls back me up that I don't believe this year, and it runs in cycles, that the SEC has a team that can finish in the top 8 of the Big East. And I say that simply on the fact Georgetown and Notre Dame are 9-10 in the conference.
And those two teams fell out of the rankings today as Thabit breaks up the lob attempt to Terrence Williams. And Thabit, as Jim Calhoun says, is more than just the numbers. He affects almost every offensive possession the other team has. Another Connecticut turnover.
They're doing a great job with deflections. They're anticipating. They really are prepared. There's a walk.
Clark with a travel.
See, Thabit's a responsible guy for their defensive efficiency. His presence in the lane, you cannot just put a stat on it. Look at that reach right there. Steps in front. He'll be a defensive force as he gets older. He has to really develop a little bit more offensive productivity.
One of the things Rick Pitino said to his team at shoot-around today, they ran a play and they didn't execute it properly. And he said, guys, you can't do that against Thabit. He's 9 feet tall. Now, he's not quite 9 feet, but at 7'3", he alters almost everything. And again, here comes the blue-collar guy nobody talks about in Jeff Adrian.
He did a great job stepping right into the open area of that 2-3 zone, found the open area, squared his body, and knocked it down.
Jennings looking for help, finds Clark. Clark with the pull-up from 17. A multi-talented player at 6'9", can run, pass, shoot. Didn't get back quickly enough, but then he blocks Adrian.
He's got great timing on that shot block.
He's the guy, as much as any other player in this game, with the possible exception of Thabit, that all these scouts are looking at.
Well, you know, Clark, when you look, he and Williams, they really are playing great in Big East competition. There's the shot block, great timing. I mean, just explosive going up there and defending that ball.
UConn now with a 1-point lead. Adrian out.
That's amazing when you think about the matchups in this conference. I mean, every day you see another big-time matchup. Really quality clubs, quality players.
Well, Marquette having such a good season with those 3 senior guards and the underrated Lazar Hayward playing very well. They are 8-0 in the conference, same as Louisville. Connecticut is 9-1.
I said the other day, and I firmly believe it, their perimeter 3 are the best as a threesome in America.
Yeah. It's tough to argue the point.
There's that zone. You want to step up to the high post area. Right up there. Then you're looking inside or to the wing.
Austrie to Price for 3. Rebound Jennings took it away from Thabit.
Jennings, the guy, shares the post inside with Samardo Sanders, as you said earlier.
Couric, ball fake, steps in, long on the jumper. Here comes Price with a full head of steam.
Run, baby, run.
Wow, that is Connecticut basketball.
That is really the way you beat a zone as well and beat the traps. Get the ball up the court quickly in transition, fill the lanes.
Price coming back from that torn ACL, feeling healthy, and Kemba Walker, number 15, just blinding speed in the backcourt for UConn.
A lot of coaches can say that, Dan. Get up with transition, beat them, but don't have the personnel to do it. Connecticut has the personnel.
Jared Swapshire, number 21, a freshman into the game for the first time for Louisville. Again, both of these teams deep, especially the Cardinals, who can use as many as 12. And Thabit is called for the foul about 27 feet away from the basket. His first of the night. The tide has turned just a little bit. UConn is out and running, Dickie V.
Yeah, run, baby, run, Danny S. Run, baby, run. Get the rock, get in transition, and score. Knows how to win. A fierce competitor.
And when you ask a Bob Knight or a Jim Calhoun about Pat Summitt, they're just gushing with praise and respect for what Pat Summitt has accomplished.
Well, how could you not?
Yeah.
When you look at that record, our track record is unbelievable.
Meanwhile, Oklahoma's second in the nation on the women's side, second in the nation on the men's side. So UConn's number 1, both men and women. Oklahoma's number 2, both men and women.
And by the way, Louisville women's team is in the top 10 in America as well, I believe.
Edgar Sosa flexing his left knee a little bit, but he's going to stay in the game. Appears to be all right as Samuels comes back in and Jennings checks out. This is a team that from last year lost some veterans up front. David Padgett, Juan Palacios, and so forth. So they are young at the 5 spot, but a lot of experience everywhere else.
Well, Samuel Samuels came in with a big reputation on the St. Benedict's, and he's been effective, but he's got a long way to go yet to play above the rim.
Clark misses the 3, rebound Adrian. And so far, Clark not finding the range from outside and not venturing inside all that much at all. Here's Adrian from 18 feet away, and he misses the jumper. Rebound Sosa.
A.J. Price has got to get going. He's really coming in off 2 really fantastic games. His last 2 games, he's 13 for 20.
He almost single-handedly helped them beat Gonzaga. Was outstanding in a win over Villanova last week as Samuels is called for the travel. Big turnover committed by Louisville.
You know, Samuels is going to be a very good college player. He stays under the tutelage of Rick Pitino. He's going to get better and better. On high school level, he can overpower people. Here at this level, he's meeting people with some size as well.
Stanley Robinson remains on the bench. 2 early fouls. Terrence Williams has 2 for Louisville. He has checked in and out a couple of times. He's back in the game right now. Jim Calhoun saying, how could that not be a foul?
Tell you one thing, if Connecticut is real smart right now, basketball IQ, you got to go at Williams. You got to try to get the 3rd. I don't blame him right there. No call.
Contact between Dyson and Sosa. No call. Jim Calhoun doesn't like it. And it's Louisville's ball.
What a masterful job. You're talking about Frank Lloyd Wright, an architect, a guy who's built a program from nowhere to making it one of the elite programs in America. It's Jim Calhoun.
Yeah, a good call there by John Cal. Jerry Smith, a little hop. Both feet came up and down. Now Adrian wants to take the ball from Smith so UConn can get going. There's a lot of intensity, a lot on the line here tonight.
You know, Jerry Smith's not been able to get good looks at the basket this year. People know he's probably their best shooter, but he had a big game in the last game. He got 20 points. He finally got some open looks.
Louisville has gone cold. They have lost the lead. The pace of the game has slowed down a little bit. Price inside, won't get the roll. Rebound Clark.
A.J. Price attacking the basket.
Louisville's gone almost 6 minutes since they scored, and another turnover, another travel to call on Smith.
And you got to credit that to the defensive ability of Connecticut. They really create a lot of the problems. I think psychologically, the presence of Thabit in the middle really affects the team.
Smith doesn't like the call. He wasn't out of bounds. He's moving both feet.
He did a little disco.
Yeah.
He did a little John Travolta.
Well, he's walking to the bench right now. Preston Knowles has come in. Dyson having possibly his best all-round season. Walker, the lob for Thabit.
That's tough to stop. When you get that lob diagonally to a guy 7'3", they're going to get that score. They're attacking the open area by the foul line in that 2-3. They're using that as a passer, a guy to create angles and get looks into the inside.
Clark thought about it, now steps in and takes the long 2, not there. And Louisville still ice cold. Almost 6.5 minutes since they have scored a point. Walker with the floater in the lane. What a play.
He has really given him a big lift off the bench. His quickness. He's a very quick, athletic kind of guard. He's going to be a star at Connecticut. He will be one of their special guards.
The freshman from the Bronx giving Connecticut a 7-point lead. Let's go back one trip down the court for Connecticut and watch a play that they run often, and you can run it when you got a 7-3 guy.
Well, there's the diagonal pass right across the lane, flip it up, and he's got himself a dunk. You're going to watch him right that inside position. See how he got great inside position, sealed the defense off, and did a great job And there's Walker in the lane. I love Walker. I think he's going to be one of the great guards to play at Connecticut if he stays his 4 years.
Connecticut is 20-1 on the season, Dick. 9-1 in the Big East. Their only loss was at home to Georgetown back in late December when Georgetown played probably their best game of the season. They're not playing anywhere near that well right now. Louisville on the season, they have lost 3 times. They're 17-3. None of their losses were in conference. They lost in Nashville to Western Kentucky. They lost in Phoenix to Minnesota, and then they lost at home New Year's Eve to UNLV.
Minnesota was the Tubby Smith, was an assistant on a great coaching staff. Can you imagine Billy Donovan and Tubby Smith on that staff along with Mr. Willard? Unreal. What Herb Sendick? What a staff.
Samuels, and a travel is the call. And again, the beat, that won't show up in the box score, but his size impacting that possession.
You know, I talked a little bit earlier about his presence in that 3 secondary. See how he holds ground? He had 10 blocked shots the other day. Do you think that affects the team?
9 Louisville turnovers in 12 minutes.
Great steal.
Sosa fouled and counted.
Score the basket. Yep. You got to score the basket there. Silly play defensively.
Jerome Dyson could not get there in time.
Sosa's been up and down in his career, but there's the strip by Sosa from out of New York City. Here's the contact, scoring.
Looking for a 3-point play when we come back. All right, Reese, thanks for keeping up updated on the NBA news and the Pat Summitt news. A 5-point lead here for UConn over Louisville. Dick's going to tell us how UConn's making it happen.
Well, they're doing a great job right here attacking the gap. Find a gap in that defense. We're going to watch them reverse the ball. We're going to reverse it right here. Freeze it. See, right now, he wants to get into this gap area. He wants to drive here, and he'll have an option to here, or he'll throw the lob up on top. Now watch him get in the gap. There it is, and he flips the lob. He says, I'm not going for the 3, but I'm going to get the high percentage. Slam, jam, bam, get the deuce. Connecticut really playing it well after the early spurt by Louisville.
Leading by 5, and a shame to beat, impacting the game in a variety of ways. Edgar Sosa to the line, looking for a 3-point play. Sosa has played under control recently and tonight, executing much better for Rick Pitino as he knocks it down and makes it a 4-point game.
Well, his confidence was uplifted with that dramatic 3 that he shot to beat Kentucky.
Well, the message Rick Pitino gave him was, quote unquote, Edgar, I think you should transfer, and I think you should transfer to a team that doesn't play defense. Come on back tomorrow, and I'll give you the names of 3 schools that don't play defense. And Sosa came back tomorrow and said, Coach, I want to stay in Louisville. And he just picked up an assist on a Terrence Williams 3.
I tell you, Terrence Williams really has played well, especially on the perimeter, making that open 3. That's 2 of them.
Austri breaks the pressure, and Thabit can't handle the pass.
They did a great job beating the front line, the first line of the defense, but couldn't convert in the second phase. Now watch this, Sosa, penetration, kick it out. He says, TW, knock it down. Nothing but nylon. And the place begins to rock. Billy Thompson's in the house from the '86 National Championship team.
Williams. And a weak side rebound there by A.J. Price, getting up there with the big guys.
See, the one thing Connecticut does well and a lot of teams do not do is attack the pressure. They drive right at it. They don't retreat.
Look at Knowles. Man, is he a pest.
He loves playing defense.
He thought he heard a whistle. Everybody stopped for a second as if they heard a whistle and a foul, but it's a play on. And now a strip by Sosa.
They love playing defense. Oh, good look by Sosa.
Terrence Williams for the lead.
That's the athletic ability of Terrence Williams. Oh, he's fired up. He's trying to be a cheerleader too, TW.
It all started with Louisville defense, and as has been the case a number of times tonight, Dick, it was a guard, it's Knowles. This time it was Sosa forcing the turnover.
Well, Sosa with the turnover, he gets it to his buddy, Terrence Williams, one of the premier athletes in the Big East. We're going to see the conversion right here. He finishes, he finalizes, he's multi-dimensional, and he's a PTP, a primetime performer.
Wednesday night hoops continue here on ESPN with a doubleheader. It begins at 7 Eastern. Another Big East matchup. West Virginia heads to the Carrier Dome to take on the Orange. And then number 3 Duke, number 10 Clemson. Wednesday night hoops presented by Disney Parks on ESPN. In the new rankings that came out today, Dick, in the top 10, there are 4 Big East teams in the top 10. There are 4 ACC teams in the top 10.
And all deserve to be there. You know, a lot of people not talking about Duke after they lost to Wake Forest. But in that game, they shot 4 for 22 from the trifecta. They're going to be a major factor come March.
And the new rankings released today. Connecticut 1, Oklahoma 2, Duke 3, Carolina 4, Pittsburgh 5, Wake is 6, Louisville 7. Boy, this pressure is something else. Walker's done a good job with it, though, getting a lot of minutes tonight. Austria. And a block is the call. It'll be on Samuels. And I believe that is his second.
Great job by Austria again attacking the basket. That seems to be their #1 priority. Taking right to the goal against that pressure. They get contact on it.
So here comes Austria, the senior out of Stamford, Connecticut, averaging about 8 points per game, a good free throw shooter, kind of a steadying influence in the backcourt for UConn.
Both clubs really struggle at the free throw line. Neither club shooting 70%.
Yep.
Connecticut and Louisville really have to improve in those areas.
Jennings back in for Samuels. Another big key tonight. Terrence Williams has been able to play with those 2 fouls, and he continues to contribute.
I don't blame them for utilizing them. I said earlier, and I really believe it, I think coaches panic and take guys out so quickly. We saw a game change Saturday night. Kalidas got 2,
yep,
and he got himself in real trouble for it.
Look at Williams.
Where would they be with Williams sitting next to Rick Pitino? Where would they be tonight if he was sitting on that sideline?
He has 14 of their 24. Thabit with his second field goal of the night. They have both been dunks.
Why not? Just throw the lob up there and dunk that baby. I remember they criticized Shaquille. They said, oh, he doesn't have much versatility. He can't shoot the little jumper. Why shoot the jumper if you can dunk the ball?
Well, all those pro scouts who have come tonight have seen Thabit's skills. They have seen Williams' skills, although now Williams turns it over. Kemba Walker end-to-end. Adrian can't corral it. Now he's got it, and count it as he muscles it up and in.
I tell you, this kid is a winner. He's got that special winner's mentality. Jeff Adrian. On the other end, Terrence Williams tried to be a little too unselfish and made a pass when he should have taken the ball up and scored. Now, Adrian's just a warrior. I mean, he's just a physical presence inside, loves to win, loves to compete.
The crowd didn't like some of his emotion after the play, but you can't blame a guy when he's playing as hard as he is in a game as big as this. He's got 10 points already, and he's had between 12 and 17 points in 10 straight games. He is remarkably consistent. Let's go to Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, Jim Calhoun, Dan calls him Mr. Consistency, the Rock. Jeff Adrian's had fun with this Louisville crowd all night long. You saw him pumping his chest there. How about minutes before the game? He was kind of doing boxing practice right up here, just hitting the backboard, having fun with everybody. They were kind of screaming at him. They're not liking it at all.
Well, we were worried about you. That last display of muscle was right in front of you as he was flexing to the fans under the basket.
You talk about consistency. He had 6 straight double-double games, broken in the last game, has 43 in his career.
Clark and goaltend.
Yeah, scored that. Nice up and under move by Clark. Clark and Williams have been their stars of stars in Big East competition. As the up and under move. And there's the goaltend.
And Louisville back within 2. Kyle Couric back in for Terrence Williams.
The way we expected it to be today, right?
Number 1 against number 7. Louisville's already beaten the number 1 this year. Knocked off Pittsburgh in this building a few weeks back.
Only 8 teams have beaten 2 number 1 teams in the same year.
And you know the last team to do it? Louisville back in 2003. Beat Kentucky and Florida, both of whom are ranked number 1 at the time. Austria miss. McGee the rebound.
I'll tell you one thing, there's some good athletes on the floor. We talk about athletic ability, we talk about jumping, lateral quickness, up and down speed.
Louisville slows it down a little bit now, looking to run some offense, get a good look. Clark into the chest of Edwards, and Thabit brings down the rebound without leaving the floor.
You know, Thabit's presence inside has totally negated any effectiveness of Samardo Samuels. He can't get any looks on the interior.
Connecticut ball as Dyson had to go out of bounds off Earl Clark.
You know, when you think about physically gifted teams, we think about North Carolina and Connecticut, to me, are up there on another level. They really are physically gifted. I think the best starting 5 in America is North Carolina. But there's certainly beatable teams when you start blending in the bench and everybody else in down.
A turnover, they couldn't get it in, eventually throw it out of bounds. Looking for somebody to find, and it's the 10th turnover committed by Connecticut.
I mean, the other day, Louisville turns the ball over against West Virginia 26 times and wins. Think about that. 26 turnovers.
169-63. Louisville 8-0 in the Big East, tied with the Marquette for top spot in the league.
That means that you're playing great defense, that you can turn it over 26 times and win a basketball game.
Marquette, by the way, a couple of road games this week, but they are at teams near the bottom of the Big East standings. They're at DePaul tomorrow night and then at South Florida on Friday night. Their schedule will get tougher. They'll play more ranked teams as the season moves along in league play. Jennings. Easy one for Thabit.
Thou shalt not enter thy lane. You cannot enter the lane. I mean, that's why they're so effective defensively, and that's why teams shoot under 40%. It starts with his presence in the 3-second area. Digger wasn't there. Jamie was there, and Karen was there.
What a finish to that game.
Wow, phenomenal. Wow. You talk about drama. The last 8 minutes was as dramatic of any championship event I've ever watched.
Shot clock running down. Earl Clark into the lane over Adrian. Loose ball to the Huskies. Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Airman Andrews. Big Monday presented by Bud Light from Freedom Hall in Louisville. #1 Connecticut and #7 Louisville. And it is a 2-point lead right now for the visiting Huskies. Dyson off the screen. Into the lane, left hand, yes!
Nice drive by Dyson. Very effective slasher and driver. A.J. Price has really been contained here. He's got 1 field goal in this game. They've done a great job keeping him out of that lane and keeping him away from making that jumper.
And Earl Clark for the Cardinals just 2 for 10 from the floor right now. Terrence Williams was all the offense early for Louisville. He's on the bench right now again with those 2 fouls as the Cardinals turn it over. Running the floor, Thabit is fouled. Number 2:56 to go here in the first half. Time now for V's Views, and you're gonna reminisce a little bit about last night down in Tampa.
Oh, that Super Bowl was certainly special. You talk about drama; it was unreal the last 8 minutes. Kurt Warner, to me, he has really locked up a chance for the Hall of Fame in his career, 377 yards. But what about Gentle Ben? Big Ben finds a way, always a winner. You talk about Roethlisberger; he is just an incredible winner down the stretch, and that catch by Santana was unbelievable. But you know what? You think about the drama. I think it's one of the greatest sporting events that I've witnessed for a championship game. I put it up there with the Jimmy V and then 1983. Certainly Villanova down there in Lexington when they beat Georgetown. But I'm going to tell you this. I think we're heading for March Madness with a special show because we have seen the balance in America of the Goliath teams, and they can all play. There's about 10 legitimate clubs with a chance of winning the national championship.
And these are 2 of them.
Absolutely.
UConn by 6. George Good has come into the game for the first time for the Cardinals. Number 22, Rick Pitino, has now used 11 players already in this game.
You know, Dennis, a lot of teams can win 2 games and go to Sweet 16, but you separate that when you talk about winning 6 and winning a national title.
Dyson just a little bit over-aggressive on defense, picks up the foul. That'll be his first.
Jim Calhoun, very calm there, big Red Sox fan. What about a Red Sox game? I mean, he was getting more nervous with the Red Sox playing the Rays than he does right here tonight. Don't believe that.
You think so? I was going to say. Team's 5th foul, so not a shooting foul. You got to give, especially Connecticut, credit with the way this game has been played, that they haven't been fouling too much. They have kept Louisville off the line.
Well, that's an interesting number when you think about the foul situation.
Connecticut fouls less often than any team in America.
Absolutely.
How about that?
251 times teams have gone to the free throw line. They've gone to the free throw line 576.
Both teams turn it over. Clark then Dyson. Earl Clark's trying to do too much tonight. He's trying to do everything. A lot of dribbling, a lot of handling out on the perimeter. Now a block shot by Dyson. Look at him run the floor.
Block shot leads to the layup. Think about this number for the year. You shoot 576 free throws, and the opponents shoot a total of 251. Wow. I mean, that's an incredible gap.
Largest lead of the game for Connecticut.
Fieri with the shot block, 2nd in the nation. 7 years in a row, they have led the nation to block shots. Mississippi State is #1.
Smith, the guy who can really shoot it but has not gotten shots, has turned it over tonight. Clark misses on the drive. Good misses on the follow.
You got to score that. Good's got to convert that layup off the offensive glass. The reason Mississippi State's #1 is because of the presence of Renato. a terrific shot blocker, leads the nation. They got a date with Kentucky, who, by the way, Kentucky fans, relax. You're going to start to win your share of games. Lost a couple of heartbreakers.
A missed three by Smith. Rebound Thabit. Can Kentucky fans relax? Are they able to relax?
They're very passionate.
Adrian, boy, UConn is breaking the pressure, getting good looks.
That was just unselfish basketball as well. The little dish to Adrian.
What a run here in the last 4 or 5 minutes for UConn.
They're quieting the crowd as well. Taking Uncle Mo on their side. You know, it's amazing. They're leading, and they haven't made a three.
Clark short on the three. 2 for 12.
I didn't even see that. Team leading at half and hasn't made a three.
They're getting a lot of layups and dunks, getting the ball inside and breaking the pressure.
Well, that's what we talked about earlier. They're going to attack the pressure. That was their #1 priority, attack the pressure.
A mismatch, and Adrian takes advantage. 15 first-half points for Jeff Adrian.
I mean, that kid is a star. I don't care what people say. Forget about role player. He is a star.
A 6'6" power forward, but emphasis on power, but he's got more skill too than people give him credit for. That was a nice move he made.
And he got a wealth of experience as well. Think about all his experience, the competition he's faced.
Louisville can hold for the final shot, but the last few minutes have been all Connecticut. Sosa. Clark will try another one.
Not even close. Not even close.
And that's all in the first half as the Huskies have taken the Cardinals and the crowd right out of this game. What a first half for Jeff Adrian. Terrence Williams did all he could, but didn't get enough help from his mates so far. And Connecticut takes a 12-point lead into halftime, leading Louisville 38-26. Aaron Andrews is standing by with Jim Calhoun.
Dan, thanks. Coach, you go on a 15-2 run. Why were they able to do that?
Well, unfortunately, Stanley got in foul trouble. The good news is we put 3 guards in. That helped us attack pressure. And then Hashim's dominance in the middle is taking away all their drives and everything in the low post. So we got to continue that in the second half. It's a long way to go.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Dan.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. The halftime score from Freedom Hall, UConn 38 and Louisville 26. #1 leading #7. Now let's send it back to the studio. Reese Davis with the Freedom Hall in Louisville. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Aaron Andrews, and the #1 team of the nation, the Connecticut Huskies, up 12 on Louisville as we go to the second half. Louisville started great. Terrence Williams was all over the place, but then Connecticut finished great. Jeff Adrian, the best player on the floor in the first half of the Huskies. What was the key for UConn in the first half?
You know, what I thought the key was the attacking of the pressure, trying to finish, trying to get the ball to the basket, and getting layups on the inside. They had over 26 points on the interior. There's a score with the outlet pass. I'm going to watch him attack off the dribble, get a little handoff by Price to Adrian. Adrian was absolutely sensational, very physical around the goal. They just did a great job finishing around the basket, attacking. Most teams like to retreat against the pressure and get conservative. Take a look at a 10 for 10 on a free throw line. And look at 0 for 5 shooting threes, but are leading because they're shooting 54%, 20% better than Louisville.
Jim Calhoun will start with the 3 guards. Stanley Robinson started the game, got 2 quick fouls, went to the bench, and Dick, you talked about it, how the 3 guards improved the ball handling and their ability to handle the pressure. Let's go to Aaron.
And in talking to Louisville head coach Rick Pitino, he said the game plan coming in for the Cards was to get a high percentage of good shots and get back in transition. Well, UConn, he said, has totally reversed our game plan. He also said, obviously, with Terrence Williams in foul trouble, hope to get him back on track. He really felt that affected the first half, but they need Earl Clark to get it going, guys. And Dick, I think you mentioned that in the first half as well.
Well, you're right, Aaron. He's 2 for 13. I think Dan said it the best earlier. He was absolutely forcing things, trying to create situations. Sometimes you wonder if they get so excited with all the NBA scouts sitting here.
Just mostly jump shots for Earl Clark, too, whether it's the scouts that he wants to show he can shoot or Thabit on the inside or none of the above. Only Clark knows, but not playing his game so far tonight.
And also because of Connecticut's defensive prowess.
Samuels
can't get a shot off. can't get a shot in the lane. Thou shalt not enter thy lane. I'll repeat that commandment. That is Mr. Thabit's commandment.
Officially the second block of the night for Thabit. Sure seems like he has more than that. Williams with an impressive block, but the follow is good for A.J. Price.
You know why it feels that way? Only 2 block shots. They're not bringing the ball inside at all. So Arnold Samuels had no attempts until the shot right there.
And Rick Pitino's going to use a timeout here in the first minute of the second half. Hasheem Thabit getting it done defensively one more time for the Huskies.
Ranked.
Let's see if Louisville can get untracked. Only 26 points tonight. Connecticut closed the half on a 16-5 run, and they have scored the only 3 points here in the second half. Sosa way short. Offensive rebound, Williams.
If they've had one dilemma in their early losses this year, when you talk about Louisville, it's been shooting the basketball. That's been a dilemma for them.
Preston Knowles for 3.
That's the third one he's made. They're going to need those threes. And remember, the three-point shot can revolutionize the game. I'll tell you this, they got to get guy Smith, who had 20, some open looks.
Between his defense and his three-point shooting, Knowles has been as valuable as anybody this side of Terrence Williams for the Cardinals tonight. Well, the crowd's back into it all of a sudden, huh?
If Smith gets back on the floor, you look for him to shoot some threes.
He and Knowles share the position, so the better Knowles plays, that might keep Smith anchored to the bench for a while.
Well, he gets the advantage, Knowles, because of his defense.
Adrian inside. Samuels the rebound. Adrian down. Now back up. Saved by Clark, but another Louisville turnover.
Really sloppy play. No rhythm at all to their offensive set. They got to get Earl Clark. They cannot win this game unless Clark starts giving them some positive minutes.
We'd like to welcome our viewers watching in Europe and the Middle East on ESPN America, a new member to the ESPN family of networks. Glad you're with us here from Freedom Hall in Louisville. Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Aaron Andrews. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. #1 UConn. They just moved to #1 in the polls today with a 12-point lead on #7 Louisville.
Well, will the #1 jinx end tonight?
Basket interference.
You talk about the jinx. Teams that have been named #1, as you talked about earlier, certainly have gone down quickly after being #1, whether it be Pittsburgh, whether it be Wake Forest, whether it be Duke.
Pittsburgh lasted 2 weeks. Carolina had it at the beginning of the year for 7 weeks. And Pittsburgh 2 weeks. Wake just 1 week. Duke just 1 week. And UConn becoming #1 as of today. Terrence Williams for 3. On a long 2, a long 2 for Terrence Williams.
And that really upsets Pitino in a way. He likes what they got to do, but he figures the kid should know where that line is.
Williams now with 16. Dyson the lob. The beat. And a foul.
Great job of figuring a way to get the ball inside the Tibby. There's Williams right now. He's on the line. And there's the deuce. And now they go the other way. And they bring the ball inside to 7-3 to beat. And he finishes. You know, a year ago, he couldn't finish that play. A year ago, he didn't have the skill and the footwork to be able to finish that play.
And the foul, Dick, is on Earl Clark, his 3rd. His tough night continues in all respects.
He's really had a frustrating night, and it certainly affected this club. I mean, to beat Connecticut, you have to have all your players have their A game. They got to play really well.
Jerome Dyson with a great steal. Louisville turns it over again.
Playing those 3 guards so effective against the kind of pressure. Jim Calhoun told us before the game, he and George Blaney, outstanding second lieutenant, told us before the game that handling that pressure was a key.
Look at this ball movement. Dyson short on the 3. Offensive rebound, and he lays it right back up and in.
And that happens with the 2-3 zone. No block out assignments. A guy goes right down the lane. You'd like to form a triangle inside to be able to get that rebound, but they didn't do a good job at all.
8 now for Dyson. The lead is 14. Williams, too strong, tapped back out.
See Williams trying maybe to do it by himself right now.
Wow, the beat. Right back out to Knowles.
How frustrating that's got to be.
Offensive foul.
How frustrating that's got to be when you start to challenge off the bounce and you're constantly met by a guy like Thabit. I mean, that just frustrates. That takes away all your practice plans offensively, the rhythm you try to work on.
And A.J. Price is still down on the court, the point guard for UConn.
He's had so many injuries.
Yeah.
Had that injury last year when they lost in the first round to San Diego. San Diego struggled this year. I thought they're going to be a lot better. Tough breakout in that conference with St. Mary's, losing Patrick Mills, a terrific player.
Price heads off the court.
You're going to see them, Gonzaga.
That's right.
Memphis,
Saturday
a good
night,
game.
9 Eastern, our Saturday prime game. Jay Billis, Bob Knight will be there with me. Aaron will be there, of course, as well, as they play in downtown Spokane. Big non-conference matchup for Memphis and Gonzaga.
And I'll be down at Davidson. I can't wait to go. 6 o'clock against Bobby Clemens in Charleston. It's the Stephen Curry and Company.
Kemba Walker back in. Gave Jim Calhoun some good minutes in the first half as Price heads to the bench.
As that screen up on top against the zone.
Adrian. Wow. Missed the dunk. Looking for the foul.
Did a tremendous job getting triple threat position. You can shoot, pass, or drive.
He has really made some good decisions in the middle of that zone. Samuels over Thabit. Rebound Walker.
He's frustrated. He's frustrated by the size of Thabit, trying to step away from him. Good spacing right there by Connecticut. Take away ability to double up on the ball.
Connecticut using some clock. It's down to 10. Kemba Walker with the ball. Driving on Williams. Thabit with a jumper. Wow. How about that?
Wow. You think that opened some eyes of NBA people? Seeing that nice follow through and that good touch? This is a kid that's only played basketball about 4 years.
Into double figures goes Thabit, and UConn's got its largest lead of the night at 16.
And he is really responsible for that lead. He has completely shut down and contained that 3-second area.
Clark on the drive. Thabit again.
Absolutely frustrating. Dan, I'm telling you, it is now Sean Donato Lane. He is absolutely dominating in that 3-second area. There is Mr. Thabit. He says, don't come in here, baby. Don't bring it. Look at a little offense. He shoots the jumper, Reese Davis. He can make the jumper.
Reese, thank you. Sharon Collins leading Kansas in scoring at better than 18 points per game. The Jayhawks moving into the national rankings this week as they take on Baylor in the second half of our Big Monday presented by Bud Light doubleheader. Connecticut 47, Louisville 31. We talked about how Jim Calhoun has all how Thabit can impact a game in so many different ways and how he is sometimes even better than his numbers. Well, he's already got his number in blocks so far tonight.
It's amazing what he does. I'll tell you, I think that he's worth, I may be a little high here, I think he's worth 20 points a game without scoring a point. Just his presence, psychologically, what he does to teams in preparation. I thought the same with Patrick Ewing.
Big play by Terrence Williams. Adrian called for the foul.
You know, when I did my book, my top 50 players, I picked Ewing #1 because I felt in my 30 years that he affected and impacted the game so much without scoring a point. Right. And you could say the same about Thabit. Now, he's not the warrior, not the offensive player that Ewing was, but I'm telling you, his defense is certainly unbelievably just so effective.
The other thing he's been able to do tonight is stay on the floor. No foul trouble for Thabit tonight. Let's go to Aaron.
Dan, and just talking about the impact, a little more about Thabit. In talking to the Louisville coaching staff, they told me when scouting him, they looked at and recorded, cut, edited, whatever you want to say, so many clips on him. More clips on him than any player that you have to scout on. And as you said, Rick Pitino saying over and over, he's 7 foot, he's 8 foot, he's 9 foot. Trying to stress to his kids how dominating he is.
You know, Aaron, today he's about 10 foot. Yeah. He's playing like a 10-footer.
Jerome Dyson was fouled and was down on the court for a while, shaken up, lost his shoe. Jerry Smith, who caused the foul, was limping around as well. But everybody appears to be okay.
You know, Dan, they got one loss. Connecticut lost that game you did against Georgetown. Georgetown came out, made threes early, had a terrific game. Some other one-loss teams, nobody talks a whole lot about Mr. Griffin and company, who would be my vote as the National Player of the Year today. Oklahoma, Butler's got one loss. You think about Utah State, 21-1.
Smith, another foul, Dyson to the line. One of the big reasons why Georgetown was able to beat Connecticut is their center, Greg Monroe, can step away from the basket, shoot, pass, and he pulled Thabit away from the basket. The centers that Louisville has, whether it's Jennings or Samuels, Thabit doesn't need to chase them out to the three-point line. He can stay in the lane and block shots.
Exactly. There are no threats from the perimeter.
Thabit struggles the most when he has to defend a guy who can step away. And Greg Monroe can do that extremely well.
Utah State's got a good big man by the name of Gary Wilkinson. I don't care what level you are. You're 21-1. You're pretty good.
Yep. And Connecticut with a win tonight would go to 21-1. They are the #1 team in the nation right now. Louisville is 17-3, unbeaten in Big East play. If Louisville loses this game tonight, then Marquette will have sole possession of the lead in the Big East. They are 8-0 right now. And they've got a game against Connecticut in a couple of weeks on a Wednesday up in Milwaukee. Terrence Williams. Where would they be without Williams tonight?
Yeah, he's really been brilliant. There's that full court pressure. Connecticut with those outstanding guards. Going to the 3-guard concept. Robinson got those 2 fouls. Jim Calhoun told Aaron Andrews that was a blessing in a way.
Robinson has not played since the first 3 minutes of the game when he picked up those 2 fouls. Adrian inside.
Once he gets low post with that great body, he seals off so well.
17 already for Adrian, who came in averaging 14 a game.
And he has won the battle against Earl Clark. Totally has won this battle. They're matched up right here. Oh, he beat him off the dribble.
Williams, 2 more.
He is so effective. You can see he's focused. He's a different player than the kid we watched last year.
Yep. Great defender, great rebounder. The best work ethic, Rick Pitino says, of anybody on the team. He's a senior. His shot is getting better.
If Louisville's going to win this game, the next 3 minutes could really be big if they can get this to 10 and under. Usually a high post area again. They like to use that foul line area.
Play on. Walker misses the shot. Dyson another rebound and throws it out of bounds off Smith. Dyson making a lot of the intangible plays here tonight. He is playing hard. Jim Calhoun said a couple of weeks ago, Jerome Dyson is everything I look for in a basketball player, and talked about how tough he is.
You know, when you look at Louisville on the other side, Williams has half their points. Has half their points.
Yeah. Thabit. And a foul inside.
I like the fact that Thabit tried to make himself a little assertive there, wanted the ball. There's the ball going down in deep. As Connecticut can go to the free throw line. I look at that number and I think it's just incredible. Making himself available big and wide in the post. 576 free throw attempts and the opponent's 251.
That is amazing.
I mean, that's an incredible number.
And tonight Louisville's only been to the line twice. That was the 16th free throw attempt by UConn. Many in the crowd behind us and across the way are standing and screaming at the officials. They are upset right now with the calls. UConn has been called for 1 foul this half. Louisville's already been called for 6 fouls. So UConn's going to get a lot of free throws here tonight.
Well, there's a reason for that. They're attacking. Yeah. They're attacking. They got athletic players who can really attack the basket. I think the officials have done a solid job.
A dozen now for Thabit.
Coming off that big game against Providence, it was hard to believe that Providence beat them 4 in a row up in Connecticut.
Terrence Williams again, 23 for Terrence Williams.
He, like Gerald Henderson down at Duke, really have found their rhythm. Versatile players playing brilliant basketball. He was sensational in the month of January. Remember, both these clubs had a perfect. They were a Bo Derek in January, 9-zip.
Gavin Edwards inside, good with a block, Cardinal ball.
Good as a guy that can block shots. Oh, there's some energy here. You can get this place.
Super Tuesday presented by KFC on ESPN. Nice job on the promo.
Well, you know, I think you're going to see Florida show some resiliency and come back after that performance against Tennessee.
That one won't go for Williams. Jennings with the offensive rebound, and he won't even look at the rim because the beat is there.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Yep.
Throw back out. You got no shot inside off him.
Jerry Smith, they need one. Don't get it. Edwards with a rebound.
Jerry Smith has struggled to try and find open looks all year. Found some open ones against West Virginia.
A.J. Price. And it'll be Louisville ball.
That's been their #1 goal. Attack, attack, attack. That time a little bit out of control.
13-point lead for the Huskies here at Freedom Homes. Our tournament resume brought to you by the Ladders as we take a look at the Irish. They got to find a way to get near or to the 500 mark conference, or Notre Dame is in jeopardy maybe of not making the tournament.
Well, you know, Herringode certainly has been sensational. I talked about earlier in conference play, like 28 and 14, but other people have to step up. If you talk about a must-win, they must beat Cincinnati on the road. That's a must-win for Notre Dame.
Agreed. A foul on Jerome Dyson, and we have a Bronx cheer here in Louisville as the crowd relishes the fact that after a number of calls went against Louisville, one has now gone against UConn.
You know, it's 6-2 right now when you talk about team fouls. I think right now Louisville fans got to really concentrate on giving their club a tremendous lift and not worry about the foul situation.
And Terrence Williams needs some help, whether it's Clark or Sosa or Smith. Somebody's got to step up.
Well, Sosa's only got 3 points. Clark has really struggled all game long.
Dyson back the other way.
Look at that speed.
And the follow is good for Kemba Walker.
What a tip by the little guy.
Yep.
That's just aggressive basketball. That means you're playing hard. They got a sense of pride, those kids, with the Connecticut jersey. You can feel it.
Timeout again for Rick Pitino. The lead is back to 15. A turnover, and how often do you see it, Dick, that a turnover leads to 2 points at the other end for the Huskies?
There's the Huskies. Look at the tip. The left-handed tip by Walker. Wow. Take a look at it. You know, in 2004, the men and women's team won the national championship. The only time that has ever happened. Look at the standings. And you don't even see right there, as you look at the top 8, you don't see Georgetown. You don't see Notre Dame. Does that show you what that conference is? And I stand by my statement. You heard at halftime, one of the local writers said to me, hey, Dick, Tennessee beat Georgetown. They beat Marquette. Well, you look at a total resume, they also have some losses, and those games were early. I firmly believe that there are really a situation where an SEC team would struggle to get into that top 8.
And you see Providence and West Virginia in the top 8, teams like Notre Dame and Georgetown in the bottom 8 right now. And the way the Big East tournament is going to work as of this year, all 16 teams go, and 9 through 16 have to play on Tuesday. So theoretically, if you're in the bottom half and you have dreams of winning the Big East tournament, you've got to play 5 consecutive days, because 9 through 16 play on Tuesday. Then those 4 winners play 5 through 8 on Wednesday. The top 4 get a double bye, if you will. So how big is it to finish in the top 4 of this league? The beat inside, rejected by Jennings.
Jennings is a good shot blocker.
Yeah. Dyson on the drive, into traffic, another rejection. And a foul, I think, on Fabit reaching in.
This club for Rick Pitino is probably as good as a defensive club he's had since he's been here in Louisville, but it doesn't have the offensive efficiency of some of his clubs. He shared that with us before the game, but he said we're going to win our share of games because of our defensive effort.
Preston Knowles back in as Smith goes to the bench. Smith has been unable to get untracked tonight. He doesn't have a point, and he's a shooter. So if the shots aren't falling, if he's not getting shots, you may as well go to Knowles, who has made 3 threes and is a superior defensive player. Good matchup here, Williams and Dyson. Sosa off the screen, wide right.
Sosa really struggling, he and Clark. Isn't it hard to believe that Richard Hamilton, it was a decade ago that they beat Duke for the national championship in '99?
You know what's hard to believe? Terrence Williams is 10 for 16. That's not the hard to believe part. The hard to believe part is everybody else 7 for 33. What a drive by A.J. Price, getting to the goal without much resistance.
You know, Rick Pitino sung his praises to us before the game. His driving ability, his ability to make threes. He was the big factor that they beat Villanova early this year. I like that Villanova team. They're really playing well, Jay Wright's kids.
Good guard play as well, and Dante Cunningham having an outstanding senior season for Villanova.
Yeah, nobody talks about them in the Big East, but they're a very good basketball team, just as Pittsburgh.
Adrian, another rebound, his 7th. He's already got 17 points, so maybe on the way to yet another double-double.
He looks like a born tight end.
Yep. 6'6" and about 240.
Wow. He'd be like Gonzalez. The guy used to play for California. He's a great tight end with Kansas City.
A.J. Price, the quarterback for the Huskies. Shot clock at 10. Using the screen from Adrian, misses the jumper, and Fabit just too big. Just too big, and then he throws it away. Clark kept his dribble alive. Nice pass. Sosa for 3. Hey, Jennings giving Rick Pitino some good minutes.
Jennings going to get some QT, some quality time. over Samuels with that kind of play.
Freshman out of Sacramento.
Hey, Louisville very capable with their scrappy, clawing defense to go on a spurt. They've had a number of spurts this year.
They have finished games strong against Notre Dame, against Pittsburgh, helping them to wins, but down 15, 8 minutes to go against the #1 team in the nation right now. Price. Louisville ball. Williams. Sosa.
Nice drive by Sosa. They wear teams down, and I think it's tough to wear down Connecticut, but they wear teams down with the traps, the defense.
An unhappy Jim Calhoun calls a timeout as the Cardinals make a little run here to get within 13. Terrence Williams and Edgar Sosa driving right into the teeth of the defense.
Yes, Sosa taking the ball up strong from that baseline.
Wednesday night hoops continue here on ESPN with a doubleheader. It begins at 7 Eastern. West Virginia taking on Syracuse up at the Carrier Dome. And then a top 10 matchup as Duke battles Clemson. Wednesday night hoops presented by Disney Parks on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
You know, KC Rivers had a big game in their comeback against Virginia Tech. They were down big, but he made 7 threes. That combination, Rivers and Booker, certainly have Mike Krzyzewski concerned.
UConn 57, Louisville 44. The Huskies becoming the #1 team in the nation as of today. The big stories tonight for Connecticut. Jeff Adrian's been outstanding. Hasheem Thabeet has not had foul trouble, has had a little bit of offense, has rebounded, has blocked shots, has altered shots, has stayed on the floor, and maybe the single biggest reason why UConn has a 13-point lead.
And also guard play. Their guards have been very attacking. They've been in an attacking mode all game long against the pressure.
And again, we haven't seen Stanley Robinson since the first 3 minutes of the game. Picked up 2 fouls. They went 3 guards, and it's worked for them. Jennings a block from behind.
Yeah, Williams missed Williams in transition right there.
Swapshire, the freshman, defended by Adrian, the senior, and Louisville turns it over.
Look at that quickness in the turnover.
Dyson.
They take that turnover, Dyson and Price, and they go the other way. Jim Calhoun's got to be absolutely ecstatic with their play tonight.
Yeah. Dyson with outstanding body control once he got up in the air to get that shot off, and the lead is back to 15.
They have met a club here that's been sensational, beating the likes of Villanova, beating Pittsburgh, beating Kentucky.
Knowles. And he continues to knock down outside shots. That's a long 2. Sophomore out of Winchester, Kentucky.
Court opens up for these guards with that pressure.
And a Louisville foul trying to slow down the Huskies. Not much has been able to slow them down here most of the night. The #1 team in the nation up by 13. At the foul line is Craig Austrie for Connecticut. Louisville got off to a great start tonight, led by Terrence Williams, led early, and then Connecticut started to handle the pressure. Louisville went cold from the perimeter, and the Huskies have had a fairly comfortable lead most of the night. Look at that difference right there.
Points in the paint.
That's partly their size, but a lot of transition getting layups.
Take a look at that. They haven't made a 3 all night. The free throw line, they've been brilliant on the free throw line. 15 for 17. You know, when you look at Connecticut, they're off to one of their best starts. Their best start ever was in '96. They were 24-1. And in that year, Rick Pitino cut the nets down and won the national championship with Kentucky.
Well, UConn won the national championship in '99, won it 5 years later in 2004. 5 years after that, this year, 2009, they are certainly.
So what are you saying?
They're
going to win it again? Wow.
I'm saying if you believe in patterns, maybe they're due.
You know, I don't believe in a pattern. I believe in the fact you look at that squad with Thabeet, Price, and company.
You believe in talent.
Yes, sir. Talent takes over patterns.
Yes.
That's a talented basketball team.
And 34 minutes into this game, Hasheem Thabeet has played 31 of those minutes. No foul trouble. Turns it over. Every time you say something good about a guy.
You got to trail him. Find the trailer. Oh, he didn't find the trailer.
Knowles misses twice.
no communication. You got to find that trailer. Just drop the ball back. Jim Calhoun, a Hall of Famer. Rick Pitino certainly heading to the Hall of Fame eventually. There's no doubt the numbers he's putting up. Had he not coached 5.5 years in the NBA, his numbers would be unreal.
He's led 3 programs to the Final Four, won a national championship at Kentucky. And his son Richard Pitino, one of his assistants on his staff here at Louisville.
Yeah, did a great job giving me a scouting report on the clubs.
Richard on the left. Steve Masiello and Walter McCarty, another Kentucky connection for McCarty on the staff here at Louisville.
He's only had one losing season as a coach, and that was on a collegiate level at Boston University.
Foul on Thabit, number 3.
13 and 14, eventually took them to the NCAA tournament, and they had 2 guys playing, the Teague brothers. And the Teague brothers, yes, Jeff Teague's father and his uncle. And Rick said, we missed out on him, didn't have enough scholarships left, but we'll have one ready for his brother.
Who's a sophomore right now in Indianapolis. Louisville not making shots.
You know, Louisville, you mentioned Indianapolis, they got 4 guys committed who are sophomores and juniors from the same high school. Out there where Greg Connolly played and where Greg Oden played.
Committed to where?
Michael
Committed to who?
Committed to Louisville.
Wow. 5 minutes to go, shot clock at 10. Crowd wanted to walk. Dyson with the reverse and the follow tap by Hasheem Thabit.
What nice timing right there for that little tip by Thabit. He's been the star of stars tonight. I don't care what you can talk about everybody else. His presence in that 3-second area has separated him from what he has done.
14 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks tonight for Thabit.
So you better throw the ball out. So you have no shot to shoot it in there.
Terrence Williams with 26 points in this game.
Terrence has done everything possible to try and keep his club fighting and fighting and fighting.
And a push. It'll be on Knowles. Boy, Dyson has been knocked down and shaken up on several occasions in tonight's game.
Take a look at Thabit. There's the drive. Now watch the tip. The good timing for the tip. Well, he's got that length, an unbelievable extension.
13-point lead for UConn. Another big night for Thabit. Offsetting a career night for Terrence Williams. 26 points tonight is a career high for the senior.
Yeah, think about Jim Calhoun's numbers. I talked about Rick Pitino. I mean, he's got 20-plus wins, 11 of his last 12 years, 18 years with 20 wins or more at Connecticut. I mean, the guy's got an incredible, led Connecticut to consecutive NCAA berths 15 times. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's done.
Dyson knocks it down as UConn continues to pile up the points at the free throw line.
You know, I talked about he took Connecticut 15 NCAA tournaments. Before he arrived, the Huskies went a total of 13 times.
There it is, a career high for Terrence Williams. 26 points, shooting the ball well, but not enough help from the rest of his team here tonight. I mean, he's got more than half their points.
Well, Sosa and Clark have not really contributed. Haven't given him a positive performance. Your veterans must perform. This crowd is really silent.
Clark is 2 for 16 tonight.
That's 1 for 8.
Twice, yeah. Twice over, that's right. 2 for 16, 5 points for Clark, who averages better than 13 a game.
Just another masterful performance by this Connecticut team. On the road, playing as #1.
Adrian inside and draws the foul. Good move by Adrian. And he will be heading to the free throw line when we come back. UConn getting closer to its 21st win of the season. Now let's toss it to Reese Davis back in the studio with an update on Tennessee and Oklahoma. Game 2 of our Big Monday presented by Bud Light doubleheader. Some of the fans are leaving early here at Freedom Hall because Connecticut continues to lead by 15 points, and Hasheem Thabit, our 21st Century Insurance Player of the Game, and he has had a very good night at both ends of the floor, but as is always the case, Dick, particularly dominant at the defensive end.
Yeah, the defensive side has been so effective, but also offensively with a tip. But his defensive presence, I've said it earlier, I really believe he's worth 20 points without scoring a point.
Hashim Thabit, our player of the game, brought to you by 21st Century Insurance, coming off a triple-double against Providence on Saturday. 14 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks, and, boy, countless altered shots at the defensive end. You think back to that one time where Terrence Jennings came down with a rebound. He's 6'10", Jennings. He was 2 feet from the rim, but Thabit didn't even look at the rim because Thabit was right there. And it's 7-3. He just changes the game.
There's special players that have been able to do that. Patrick Ewing was one down at Georgetown. You think about him, you think about Olajuwon down there with Houston. David Robinson, and he was at the Naval Academy.
Knowles, Samuels can't handle it. UConn ball. A very impressive performance by UConn. Not a great offensive performance by Louisville, and sometimes they do struggle to score the ball. They're a better defensive team than offensive team, but they have just, other than Terrence Williams and to a lesser degree Preston Knowles, nobody has been able to get untracked offensively for the Cardinals.
You know, coming into this game, to beat needed 10 block shots, 10 more to break the record for a single season held by Okafor, who led him to that championship in 2004. His brilliant shot blocking ability. He was dominant against Duke in that semifinal game.
The clock is now UConn's friend, and they'll use it. Dyson blocked by Williams. And it's going to be UConn ball as Williams evidently out of bounds when he caught that save attempt.
You know, this Louisville team's going to win a lot of games. Rick Pitino has these kids scrapping, hustling, playing defense. He's won 538 games in his career, and that's with almost 6 years in the NBA. You add those years to that resume, and the resume would be saying Hall of Fame.
16-point lead for Connecticut. Big Monday presented by Bud Light from Freedom Hall inside the final 3 minutes. And UConn just anointed as the #1 team in the nation today, playing like the #1 team in the nation. Up 16 here in a very tough place to play, Freedom Hall.
I think their guards have been superb tonight, the way they've handled Louisville's pressure. Teams have really succumbed to that pressure during the course of the year. But you couldn't tell it to the guys like Price and Dyson and Walker.
What a strong finish by Price.
He's got the great body strength. His dad was very strong when he played at Penn, a 6'5", small forward. Took him to the Final Four. The year Michigan State, and French kid from French Lick, Larry Bird went. There's the strength of body.
So Price to the line as the lead grows to 18. Here comes Swapshire. Here comes Couric. Clark is out probably for the night, and a miserable night for Earl Clark. 2 for 16, 5 points. Here comes George Good. Here comes Reginald Delk. So Rick Pitino clearing his bench to a certain extent here in the last couple of minutes. And Terrence Williams gets the biggest ovation as he goes out, and he deserves it.
Yeah, he really played a brilliant game. Got in foul trouble early, but it didn't affect him. He came out and still scored. Hey, when I think about underrated players, guys that don't get a lot of publicity, you think about Adrian. What about Sam Young, Pittsburgh, Gerald McNeil down at Marquette, Derek Brown, Xavier, Jeff Teague, Wake Forest, Willie Warren, Oklahoma. Those guys are all stars. We know about them, but a lot of people don't talk about them. You don't hear their names on a regular basis.
Well, Adrian, who just knocked that pass away, may be the most underappreciated of all of them because he gets less attention than 3 or 4 of the guys on his own team.
There's some unsung stars, man. Those clubs are all ranked very high because of the performances of these players. These players have been really primetime players, PTPers all year. This crowd is silent compared to when we entered here. They were on fire early in the game.
First 5 or 6 minutes belong to Louisville. The rest of the night has belonged to UConn. Swapshire misses the jumper. Rebound by Price. Price continues to play great basketball. He's gotten healthy. He's over the torn ACL. More confident in his ability to do the things he's able to do, and he has been terrific in recent weeks for the Huskies.
They say he trusted his leg for the first time against Villanova when he attacked the basket at 29.
Well, Rick Pitino had glowing praise of Price for us in his office before the game. He thinks he is a star.
Well, he is. At a collegiate level, there's no telling how good he'd be had he not had those problems physically.
Walker turns it over.
Calhoun now going to move up to 795.
Good pass, Eddie Sutton, for 6th all-time before the end of the season. Delk short on the 3. Swapshire with a rebound. Over Thabit, off the glass and in.
Swapshire, it's got to get a little stronger physically, but a good offensive rebound there. See, Adrian gives him another passer as well for a big guy. He stepped out at that high post area tonight and was very effective against that. Utilize him as an outlet.
Final minute. Connecticut Huskies with solid defense, great free throw shooting, sharing the ball, did not hit a single three-pointer in this game.
That's amazing to win a game, play so effectively without a 3.
Dyson went for the slam. That won't endear him to the crowd with the state of the game right now. Swapshire in this, rebound Price, and now the shot clock turned off. And the Huskies, Jim Calhoun is saying no shots. No shots.
We're going to certainly win, though. The V Foundation, when we honor Rick Pitino and Billy Donovan on May 15th. Any Louisville fans want to join us? We're going to honor. It's going to be a special night and a tribute to Mr. Pitino and Mr. Donovan for the V Foundation in Sarasota, Florida. Just go to my website, dickvitelonline.com, and you can find out more about our great event where we hope to raise $1 million for the V Foundation.
The #1 team in the nation certainly looked all of that here tonight as UConn comes into Freedom Hall in Louisville and leaves with an impressive 68-51 win. Big nights for Jeff Adrian, Hashim Thabit, Jerome Dyson, A.J. Price, and just about everybody who took the floor in a blue jersey here tonight. UConn 21-1, and Louisville suffers its first loss in conference play as they drop to 8-1 in the league. Connecticut goes to 10-1 in Big East play, and that means Marquette is all alone atop the Big East standings right now with a record of 8-0. Let's go to Aaron Andrews with Jim Calhoun.
Dan, thanks. Coach, you said today, I'm not worried about the ranking, but what does it mean now to come in as the top-ranked team in a tough venue and walk away with a win?
Well, it means our kids are pretty tough. Maybe as tough as their coach would like them to be, I think. And, you know, as I said to you, Aaron, before, the 3-guard attack took Rick's team out of what they really wanted to do because all 3 kids could handle. And Hashim's presence in the middle once again. I mean, I saw they had 3 blocks for him. That was in the first minute, I believe. But it's a wonderful win for us. And now we got a real good Michigan team coming up on Saturday. But right now, I'm going to fly home all the way to Connecticut on this one.
You're allowed to. You're allowed to. Talk a little bit more about Thabit tonight. Coach, there were guys that wouldn't even look at the basket when he was defending them. What can you say about his presence inside?
Well, you know, he doesn't. Nobody mentions him as being one of the best players in America. I think he has as much impact as any player on the game without scoring a point. He also showed his jump shot tonight, and he showed a few other things. So it was a great performance for him, and maybe America now will see just how special play he's developed into.
Hey, go on the plane and go enjoy this, will ya? Thanks. Dan.
All right, Aaron, thank you. A very happy Jim Calhoun. His #1 Connecticut beats Louisville soundly here tonight and goes to 21-1 of the season. The final score 68-51. Kansas Baylor coming up next. Pat Summitt goes for win number 1,000 over on ESPN2. That game is ongoing right now as Tennessee takes on #2 Oklahoma, and we'll be on ESPN News with a postgame extra momentarily. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Dick and Aaron, I'm Dan Schulman. Thanks for watching. UConn wins. Back to Reese Davis in the studio.